On the morning of February 28, 1997, a fleet of news helicopters rushed to a bank in an otherwise quiet neighborhood of northern Los Angeles. They pointed their cameras toward the parking lot below, broadcasting live to millions of people.
Unreal. Heavily armed men firing away with no apparent fear or care for human life.
On the ground,
no apparent fear and care for human life is insane. So that means that them boys was busting, gang. Like, hold on.
Parking lot below, broadcasting live to millions of people.
Unreal. Heavily armed men firing away with
That look like a AK-47.
no apparent fear or
What is that? That look like hold on.
care for human
Dang, I forgot what that gun called. It's for sure a assault rifle though.
life.
On the ground,
Dang, bro, what is that gun called, bro? Bro, I forgot what that gun called. I know when Call of Duty, man, I forgot, bro.
a routine bank heist was turning into one of the most violent
That's an AK-47 for sure, though. You can literally see the wood. Like, even though it's pixelated, you can literally see the wood, gang.
shootouts in American history. Two bank robbers were engaged in heavy gunfire against hundreds of LAPD officers. They were
Hundreds is
outnumbered
insane.
badly, but they were not outgunned. The bank robbers came armed with multiple fully automatic rifles, thousands of high-caliber rounds, and
AK-47, you got a M4, that's a 50 round. You got another AK. Nah, that's actually a Draco. That look like the first Draco that was made. Well, no. That's not the first Draco. That's a regular Drake instead of a micro. What is that extra long assault rifle though? I don't know which one that is. I can't really see the full body of it, but that's for sure AK. That's an M4. Nah, I actually got that gun. That's a AR-15. I'm tweaking. Yeah, I'm tweaking. No way I call that an M4. Yeah, I'm tweaking. That is not an M4. So that's an AR-15. I actually have that gun. Yeah, I was like, hold on, it look familiar. So that's an AR-15. That's an AK-47. That's if y'all boys know what a micro Drake is, that's a regular full size Drake. And I don't know what that fourth gun is because I can't see the full body. That's a 50 round magazine. That's a 50 round magazine on the full size Draco. That's another clip for the AK-47 over there to the left. Yeah, they for sure got some ammunition. I ain't gonna lie. That's literally, from what we see, that's literally 100 bullets minimum in the trunk. In the truck alone. No telling, like, mind you, there's probably an ammo crate or ammo box right there to the left as well. So, yeah, just for and off what we see, technically, that AK-47 clip, there's some add-on bullets too. Like, that's possibly 20 to 30 along right there in the AK-47 magazine clip. So, yeah, that's about 130 bullets that we seeing in the trunk.
enough body armor to render the LAPD's weapons virtually useless. That morning, they turned Los Angeles into a war zone, altering the course of American policing forever.
I don't know what the police using. I don't know what they got in their hands.
Larry Phillips Jr. came from a long line of criminals. His grandfather robbed trains. His father robbed graves. And in the years to come, he would become one of the most infamous bank robbers in American history. But
So basically it's in the blood.
his criminal career didn't start with high-profile heists. In 1984, after dropping out of high school, Larry began training to become a bodybuilder at Gold's Gym in Pasadena. But he quickly realized he didn't have the genetics to compete at the highest level and began looking for a new path. To look the part of a successful businessman, Larry tried to steal some suits, but he was arrested. Once out of jail, he earned a living as a real estate agent, but he couldn't resist easy money. So occasionally, he ran small property scams to defraud his clients. But the real turning point in his criminal career likely happened back at Gold's Gym, where presumably he met his partner in crime.
I haven't heard of that gym in so long. The fact that when they said partner in crime, I assumed a woman, and it's crazy that I actually got that right. That's crazy. So they had a female on the heist. Shout out to them, no cap.
Emil Matasareanu immigrated from Romania.
Actually, it's deeper than that. They actually had a couple on a heist. We love a ride or die couple, no cap. You know what I'm saying?
To Los Angeles in 1976. Born with a rare heart condition, exercising was practically impossible. In my high school, he weighed 350 pounds. The relentless bullying made him bitter, withdrawn, and angry. Was
Wait. Who was 350? His girl? Hold on.
Emil Matasareanu immigrated from Romania to Los Angeles in 1976. Born with a rare heart condition, exercising was practically impossible.
Oh, okay. So that's not funny. Never mind. I thought she was 350 by choice. Okay.
In my high school, he weighed 350 pounds. The relentless bullying made him bitter.
Wait, what?
In crime.
They said he.
Emil Matasareanu immigrated from Romania to Los Angeles in 1976. Born with a rare heart condition, exercising was practically impossible. In my high school, he weighed 350 pounds.
What? There must have been a typo.
The relentless bullying made him bitter, withdrawn, and angry.
Cause that's the Emil girl, right?
But in 1989, Emil set out to lose some weight and signed up to Gold's Gym in Pasadena, the same gym where Larry trained. It's unclear if this is really where they first met, but whatever the case, Larry saw something in Emil. For one, they both shared a passion for firearms, and although Larry had more experience in this department, Emil showed a growing interest in crime. Larry was already pulling off small-scale property scams, but now that he was friends with Emil, they began working together on more ambitious projects. And they weren't the only ones. In 1991, there were 9,388 bank robberies across the United States.
That's
One
crazy.
in every 4 of those, 2,355 to be exact, happened just here in the Los Angeles metro area. The next year,
ain't California one of the main states with the highest taxes? I mean, if I was them, I'd probably rob too. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I think California tax is like 40% or something like that. Like, bro, if I'm getting taxed 40% out of my income, bro, I will rob too. Like, bro, y'all robbing us, right? Bro, 40% is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Y'all robbing us? Like, what do you expect? You know what I'm saying? Bro, 40% though, gang? 40%? You mean to tell me, let me put it in perspective for y'all, right? If I'm staying in California and I made $1 million, if California taxes is, they take 40% out, bro, let's say if I made $1 million flat that year and I stay in California, I'm a California resident, 40% taxes taken out of my $1 million will be $400,000. Meaning, I made $1 million, but I'm only taking home $600K. 400,000 went to taxes. Like, come on, gang. Like what? Like what, gang? You know what I'm saying? So I just put it in perspective for y'all. Obviously, at that amount of money, you still probably won't need to rob, but bro, still, bro, like, come on, 400,000, gang. Mind you, like 400,000, like, come on, gang. I rob too. No cap. I'll probably do more than that.
That number rose to 2,600.
A lot of y'all with me though. No cap. You right here. I'm talking to you right here. You a rob too. You right here. I'm talking to you. You a rob too. You just like me for real, bro. Mind you, you'll get mad if somebody just take 100. You'll probably get mad if somebody just take a couple thousand from you. Like probably about 5,000, 2,000. Imagine somebody taking 400,000 from you. Like, exactly. So you'll do the same thing I'm doing, gang.
141. That's one robbery for every 45 minutes that a bank was open. Now, at the time, bank robberies were unsophisticated, generally not violent, and the perpetrators only profited between $1,500 and $2,000 on average. However, they had become such an epidemic that banks began hiring armed security guards, using exploding die packs and trackers, implementing surveillance, randomized cash delivery schedules, and storing cash in individually locked compartments. At the same time, the government cracked down by raising the minimum sentence for bank robbery to 25 years. And it worked. By 1995, bank robberies in LA had
They talking about 25 years for a robbery. Man, I still would have robbed. That ain't a lot. Hey, messing with somebody like me, man, hey, you on the up it. You on the up it. That ain't nothing. I'll still take that risk. Come on, man. 40% taxes? Man, come on, gang. Let's be real.
more than halved. But this also had an unintended side effect. It didn't stop the most determined criminals. It just forced them to adapt.
Exactly.
With higher
Like what?
stakes and more obstacles, heists became more carefully planned, more ambitious, and much more violent. Criminals began aiming for much bigger scores, and if it meant avoiding 25 years in prison, they were willing to use hostage situations, intimidation tactics, military-grade weapons, and even deadly force. Larry Phillips and Emil Matasareanu were among this new breed of criminals. It's hard to say exactly when they committed their first armed robbery together. Some investigators believe that between 1990 and 1992, they carried out some small-scale heists. Small businesses, convenience stores, even a few cash couriers. Nothing too big, but enough to gain experience. When you're starting a business, it's no different. You need to start somewhere, gain experience, build skills, and trap happens right on the year on top. When your website takes and their first go try Odoo's website builder for free by clicking the top link in the description or scan this QR code to get started. Their first confirmed major robbery came in 1993 when they ambushed an armored car, escaping with tens of thousands of dollars. It was a perfect job, and it showed them that they could pull off something much bigger. But 3 months later, their luck ran out. One day, while driving in a rented car, Larry and Emil were pulled over for speeding. It should have been a routine traffic stop, but Emil panicked and told the officer the car belonged to, quote, Dennis's mom. Dennis was Larry's fake name. So of course, when the officer ran the plates, and the records didn't match their story, he arrested them. Inside the car, the officer found 2 rifles, 2 handguns, 3,000 rounds of ammunition, smoke bombs, police scanners, IEDs.
I ain't gonna lie, 3,000 rounds of ammunition is crazy. Y'all know bullets is not cheap. The fact that they got 3,000 rounds, I mean, they got some type of money. Like, that's crazy. And smoke grenades is insane. I never seen a smoke grenade in real life a day in my life. Like, mind you, if it wasn't from GTA, I wouldn't even know that those exist. I don't know how they get their hands on smoke grenades, and they got dynamite. Like, where's people getting this stuff from, bro? They must got a military connect or plug, gang.
3 fake license plates, and 2 sets of full-body armor. It didn't take a genius to figure out what they were up to. So both Larry and Emil got a short jail sentence for conspiracy to commit robbery. But more importantly, their gear was confiscated, and now as convicted felons, they could no longer legally own guns. This would have been the end for most criminals. But if anything, Larry and Emil's heists just got bigger, more complex, and much more violent. In 1995, they crossed a new line, killing a security guard to rob an armored vehicle. By 1996, they had all but perfected the military-style robbery, robbing 2 Bank of America branches with overwhelming firepower, in and out within minutes, walking away with hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, they were ready for the biggest, but ultimately, most disastrous job of their careers. By 1997, Larry and Emil had nailed down their next target, the Bank of America branch on Laurel Canyon Boulevard, the largest in North Hollywood. The location was perfect. The bank sat right beside a highway, with parking lots on both sides giving them options for a getaway. To the west, there was a busy shopping mall full of civilians, potential human shields which would make police think twice before opening fire. And to the east, there was a quiet residential neighborhood with streets that could serve as escape routes. To prepare, they collected over 3,000 rounds of ammunition and enough weapons to outfit a small army. 3 fully automatic Norinco Type 56 rifles, Chinese-made AK-47s fitted with 100-round drum magazines. A
Told y'all boys I know my guns, no cap. M15, no cap, I told y'all.
Bushmaster XM15 Dissipator, a smaller variant of the M16, modified for fully automatic fire. And finally, an HK-91 battle rifle, perfect for longer distance combat. Beneath their clothes, they wore Kevlar vests and heavy steel plates on their chest and back. Larry went a step further, wrapping his groin, arms, and legs in makeshift Kevlar padding. By comparison, the average LAPD officer at the time wore this uniform. And
I ain't gonna lie, it do be tough. It do be tough. I ain't gonna lie. It do be tough. Yeah, y'all for sure don't stand a chance. Mind you, the criminal look like the SWAT team. The only thing they missing is a helmet. Like, yeah, this is insane. And some gloves.
And carried 3 15-round magazines for a Beretta M92 FS, which fires 9mm rounds. This is what they look like compared to an HK-91's bullets. Needless...
Bro, imagine getting hit with a 7.62. I hate to be that person. Boy. Oh, that's a big bullet, boy. Boy, what else? Boy. Boy. Dang, I forgot. Boy, imagine getting hit with a 50 cal. Like, bro, like. I know, boy, I know that pain is insane. Well, it actually depends on the body part you get hit, but at the end of the day, it's all gonna hurt, gang.
Needless to say, a Beretta wasn't going to do much. But as a last resort, even Larry and Emil brought one. Their plan was simple. Enter the bank, keep the civilians under control, force the teller to open the vault, stuff as much cash as possible into their bags, and walk out before the LAPD could even get there. 8 minutes, in and out. It would go down on a Friday morning, when the bank's vault would be restocked with cash. Larry and Emil expected to walk away with at least $750,000. This wasn't a reckless, last-minute job. It was the result of years of careful planning, perfecting every detail, and preparing for every possible scenario. But when the day finally came, nothing went according to plan.
For real? I thought they successfully got away. Hold on. It's time to lock in. Hold on. It's time to lock in. Hold on. Because I thought they actually got away with it. Mind you, it say they changed the American police forever. Bro, I'm thinking the police took an L so bad that they had the, you know what I'm saying? But I guess it was, they probably potentially almost took a big L, so that's why. All right, so we got to lock in. Everybody lock in. Everybody lock in, gang. Let's get it.
At 9:16 a.m., Larry and Emil stepped out of a white Chevrolet Celebrity in the north parking lot of the Bank of America on Laurel Canyon Boulevard. They had just taken a phenobarbital, a medication typically used to prevent seizures, but they were using it to calm their nerves. They planned this heist in meticulous detail and sewn watch faces into their gear to time it perfectly. If everything went to plan, they'd be in and out in just 8 minutes. However, just as they were reaching the front door, Larry spotted a patrol car driving past Laurel Canyon.
Crazy.
It was,
mind you, y'all already cooked. Like, bro, y'all carrying weapons in broad daylight, 9 a.m. in the morning, not even trying to hide that y'all got the weapon in y'all hand, and y'all wearing all black, and y'all got ski mask on. What happened to doing crime in disguise, man? Like, bro, y'all cooked. This literally how you walk around in GTA, wearing whatever you want with a gun in your hand. Bro, this is not GTA. Like, come on, gang. This is real life. You cannot explain to, bro, like, this is dumb. No wonder how it didn't go according to plan. This is so stupid. Like, bro, this is stupid. At this point, you should have just ran up in there. Like, gang. Because soon as the cops see you dressed up like that, it's already suspicious. Now you dressed up like that and you're open carrying a fully automatic with 100 rounds in it. Come on, gang. Bro, you can't even make up the best lie to not get, like, out of that scenario, bro. Like, you already cooked. And guess what? Them two, just by being there, walkie-talkie, they about to go hit up the other law enforcement. Mind you, if you go ahead and kill them right there in the car, civilians gonna go crazy. It's gonna be an outbreakage, like outright, everybody screaming and woot woot. Guess what? The police still gonna get called. There's a shooting over here, gunshots fired on Woot Woot Street. Like, bro, you're cooked. Like, they should have literally just ducked off, probably hide in the bushes to make sure there's no cops around, then go in, bro. Like, rookies. Like, come on, gang, rookies.
Wasn't sure if the officers had seen him, so he continued with their plan. No, we got a 211 in progress at Bank of America, Laurel Canyon. 2 armed suspects, full tactical gear. While the LAPD made their way to the scene, Larry grabbed a man using an ATM inside the bank, threw him to the floor, and fired into the ceiling. At the same time, Emil shot the lock off the teller's security door and shoved the assistant manager towards the vault. But that's when he ran into an issue. Instead of a single massive vault, the bank had many individual lockboxes, each needing its own separate key. And to make things worse, the cash...
And that's gonna make it, mind you, they want to go in and get out in 8 minutes. Like, bro, the fact that they use different keys is gonna make it even longer for y'all to do y'all quote-unquote heist. And guess what? The longer it takes, bro, mind you, the cops don't really come quick depending on where you at. So, bro, the longer it takes for you to do crime, bro, you just making it even more easier and more the chances of it being guaranteed of the cops making it to actually solve the problem that's going on. Like, bro.
Delivery they thought was scheduled every Friday morning had been randomized to increase security. This would make the heist slower and much less profitable. 3 minutes in, Larry left Emil in the vault and stepped outside the bank. If those cops had seen him coming in, they could be in trouble. When he looked south, he saw them, waiting in the mall across the street. The LAPD was already on their way. This was going to get ugly. 8 minutes in, Emil had managed to stuff his duffel bag with $303,305 and, unknown to him, 3 die packs. On the outside,
wait, aren't the die packs like the trackers? Yeah, that's crazy.
More than 20 LAPD officers had already taken defensive positions around the bank, covering the entire north and west sides.
Mind you, they using these little revolvers, gang. Y'all ain't, I mean, all bullets do the same, but man, ain't nobody scared of that. Like, bro, I got this big old assault rifle. Like, bro, get out of here. Like, come on, mind you, enough bullets. Mind you, I'm towing 100 rounds, bro. Enough bullets to the front of your car, bro. I can blow one car up and it blow all of y'all up. Like, bro, I wouldn't even feel intimidated at all walking out that bank.
That's when Larry stepped outside again, raised his AK-47, and
boy got the bussing.
All of a sudden, a violent gunfight had erupted in the middle of a busy road. The policemen took cover and tried to shoot back. Sometimes they even hit Larry directly, But from over 200 feet away, their 9mm rounds were practically useless against his body armor. Meanwhile, his AK could pierce through cars and even some walls. For 4 straight minutes, Larry stood in the open, spraying hundreds of rounds across Laurel Canyon.
Yeah, he a crash out. Open? He ain't even taking cover. Like, yeah, all right, bro. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. If I'm police, I'm fleeing the scene. I'm fleeing the mission. Bro, you cannot compete with somebody that don't care. Like, you gotta not, the only way to compete with somebody that don't care is you gotta not care. Bro, he's open. Y'all see the difference? He at least trying to hide his legs behind the car. Bro, like, man, I don't care, man. I'm peeking the whole corner. Like, come on, gang. With 100 rounds. Yeah, all right, bro. You got it, gang. I ain't gonna lie. Or I'm calling for backup immediately and they ain't moving until backup come. You tweaking.
Then Emil stepped out to join him. Together, they wounded multiple officers and even some civilians.
I bet they did. Mind you, they opened firing, no cover, with 200 bullets.
But eventually, they had to make a run for it. First, Larry made a break to the parking lot while Emil lay down covering fire. And once he found a good position, he did the same. However, moments after Emil stepped outside the bank, the 3 dye packs hidden inside his duffel bag exploded. And just as he was nearing the parking lot, an officer managed to graze him with a bullet just above the eye. At this point, 6 news helicopters were
I just caught on to what they say above the eye. It's crazy.
Hovering above the bank. One of them captured Emil touching his head and leaving a bloody print on the hood of a car. When he told Larry about the dye packs, Larry assumed that the money had been stained, and in a snap decision, he left the bag behind. In reality, since the cash was still wrapped in plastic, most of it was fine. But either way, this heist wasn't about money anymore. It was about surviving. It is unclear why.
Even if they dip and be straight, mind you, he got grazed like near his eye, right? So that means he left DNA, aka blood, on the scene, and they can easily find out at least who one of the gunmen is, which is the dude blood it is. And guess what? They can easily find suspects, even if they're not correct. They could potentially figure out who the second person that was on the heist with him by seeking, who is this person closest friends? Like, they can backtrack a lot of stuff to find out even who the second man is just off getting the one dude identification. Like, it's crazy.
Why Larry and Emil did not attempt to drive away at this point. They may have thought their escape routes were blocked, or they may have just chosen to fight until the end. But for the next 20 minutes, while Emil recovered from his wound, Larry was in a gunfight against hundreds of LAPD officers, all on his own. During this, he was hit at least 3 more times, including once in the side of his torso, where there was a gap in his body armor. And yet, Larry kept on fighting. He was probably too high on adrenaline and phenobarbital to notice. Eventually, Larry ran out of ammunition for his AK, so he ran to their car, picked up the HK-91, and resumed the shooting. While he was close to Emil, Larry tried to—
I ain't gonna lie though, you gotta respect the dedication. Like, come on, man. Like, hey, even though he doing wrong, hey, you gotta respect the dedication, man.
Tell him something, but he was interrupted by a direct shot to his left arm. Frustrated, Larry started firing at a news helicopter, recording him from afar. But thankfully, he missed every shot. The injury had left him unable to hold his rifle properly. Now he had to rest it on his forearm, which ruined his aim. The situation was already bad, but to make it worse, their car now had 2 flat tires from all the shooting. Despite this, Emil started driving off slowly, shooting officers through the window while Larry followed him on the ground. While this was happening, Larry's body armor blocked 3 more shots, but one bullet did strike the front of his HK-91's magazine well, denting it and jamming it beyond repair. When Larry tried to reload, the magazine was stuck. This was the moment that sealed Larry's fate. Now he had to discard the HK-91 and switch to the third AK-47 he had brought. But because it was illegally modified, this weapon was malfunctioning after every few shots. In order to fix it, Larry had to remove and reinsert the magazine every time. Emil was now desperate to escape. He opened the passenger door for Larry to get inside, but for some reason he refused. Larry slammed the door shut and kept using the car for cover while Emil drove beside him. Eventually, they reached the north parking lot's exit and turned into the residential neighborhood east of the bank. Here, there was an abandoned police cruiser and semi-truck, where Larry took cover. Emil stayed on the road.
So he must like wanna, y'all boy know what I'm saying? Because he literally got the chance to escape with his partner, but he closed the door and kept shooting. So he must wanna, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Driving slowly and expecting Larry to hop into the car soon, but he had moved to the other side of the truck. Neither one of them could see where the other was. When an officer fired at Emil, he sped toward the front of the semi-truck and didn't find Larry. He had returned to the back, expecting Emil to be there still. But no. Some officers were already inside the neighborhood, and Emil had to speed forward in order to avoid them. From now on, Larry and Emil were completely on their own.
So
At
where
this
Larry
point,
at?
Larry was caught between a semi-truck, a tall wooden fence, and two groups of police officers with only a faulty AK-47 and a Beretta M92 FS strapped to his left shoulder. As he kept exchanging fire with police, he was shot twice in the back. One bullet struck his body armor, but the second missed the plating and hit his subclavian artery, causing severe bleeding
Yeah,
and
he cooked. They hit an artery. He cooked. Damn, bro.
some serious pain. Because of this, Larry panicked. When his AK-47 jammed again,
He kept trying to bust. Nah, bro, he doing wrong, but you gotta give him credit. He got some good traits. Like that boy resilient, man. That boy stick, bro. You got an artery hit, bro. Like, if I'm not mistaken, that cause fast, like a lot of bleeding. That's a lot of blood, bro. If you lose a lot of blood as a human, you're cooked. Especially if you don't get treated, you don't get to the hospital quick enough. This dude literally said, I'm gonna keep trying to fire. Even though it ain't working, I'm gonna hope it work.
instead of simply reinserting the magazine, which would have fixed the issue, he repeatedly pulled the charging handle, jamming a bullet inside and making it impossible to fix. Larry realized he was out of options, and he desperately took cover under the semi-truck. But the police officers had a clear line of sight on him, and they forced him out with 2 more shots. Severely injured, losing blood, and likely demoralized, Larry crawled out from under the truck, pulled his Beretta from his shoulder.
He's steady going! Nah, bro is different. He's steady going. I don't care. Y'all got it. Even though he wrong, you still got to give him his props. He got some good character traits. He just using his good character traits and using them to fuel the wrong thing. That's the only thing he doing. He using the right traits to fuel the wrong thing, which is a bank heist crime. Boy, imagine he did this to something legal. Like this boy he'll be something serious, boy. Like, bro, mind you, he got shot 3-4 times already. Artery hit. Like everything, bro. He grabbed the Beretta and steady busting. Like he must want to go out, like, you know, like he want to, cause everything he doing, like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So, hey, that boy resilient though. I ain't gonna lie, that boy persistent with this. Like that boy steady going, like if the cops having to end up having to do, you know what I'm saying, to him, he literally probably left them no choice, because he literally wouldn't stop firing at them. And it comes to the point whether it's their lives or his life. So, yeah, you feel me? Like, but yeah, bro, wilding game. But at that point, if he having troubles with the AK, why didn't he pull out the Beretta as soon as the AK wouldn't work? Like, you literally wait till you got shot. Okay, you getting shot in the back, okay, twice, okay. But after them first 2 shots, you should have swapped to your secondary gun, which was your pistol. You literally let yourself get shot 2 more times. Now you got shot total of 4. Now you want to pull out your pistol. You feel me? You should have been did that earlier ago, and you probably would have saved yourself from taking damage.
Holster and fired one-handed at police. But the officers returned fire and hit Larry's hand, causing him to drop the gun. It was over. While this was happening, LA's SWAT team arrived on the scene and began commandeering police vehicles to look for Emil. He was deep inside the neighborhood, driving a Chevrolet Celebrity with 2 flat tires and a leaky gas tank. Going back for Larry was simply not an option anymore. But if Emil wanted to escape, he needed a new vehicle. While finding his way through the neighborhood, Emil forced a car to stop in front of him. But the driver, seeing a masked juggernaut emerging from a bullet-ridden car...
Don't tell me the driver got fire on them. If the driver got a gun, bro, oh, this is the worst case scenario ever. Like, imagine the driver got a gun on them for self-defense. Oh, my God.
Understandably, kept backing up. When Emil pointed his AK at him, he turned around and sped away. Emil stayed on the move, looking for other vehicles. And this time, when he came across a pickup truck, he didn't negotiate. Instead,
Didn't negotiate, man. He instantly opened fire.
he fired his AK
I'm already knowing.
through their 2 windshields, breaking glass into the driver's face and grazing his head with a bullet. Thankfully, the driver reacted quickly and abandoned the truck in the middle of the road, with the door open. Immediately, Emil parked his Chevy beside it, tossed his remaining gear on the bed, and climbed into the driver's seat. But when he tried to start the car, he couldn't. The driver had taken out the keys from the ignition.
What? Oh, yeah, bro, what? I ain't gonna lie, this goes to show, bro, whenever you do crime, you gotta already be ready for everything. Like, everything, bro. Like, this is crazy. What are the odds he ran with the keys? Like, what?
So he crouched down and tried to jumpstart it. While he was doing this, though, Emil was spotted by a SWAT team, who parked right beside him. Emil jumped out of the truck just in time, seconds before bullets started tearing through the driver's seat. He took cover again behind the Chevy and began spraying the SWAT team with bullets. Whenever they found a moment to fire back,
So the cops must just go not stop shooting if you surrender. Because while they instead of just being like, y'all got me, I'm dropping my gun, doing this, right? They literally go get cover and like they literally go get cover and like, gang, like instead of being like, all right, y'all got me, I'm dropping my gun. You say, oh nah, there they go, cover. Like, all right, bro. I guess.
body armor kept him safe. This went on for the next 2.5 minutes. But eventually, Emil ran out of ammunition for his AK-47, so he had to take a few seconds to grab his XM15 dissipator from the back of the pickup truck. This gave the SWAT team a few moments to breathe, and one of the officers noticed a—
Mind you, why didn't he just switch to his secondary, which is the pistol? Like, they not utilizing the pistol at all. Like, what?
a gap between the tires of the 3 vehicles. He had an angle on Emil's legs, and they were unprotected. When Emil started firing again, the officer laid down on the ground and took a precise shot, hitting Emil in the calf. Then he took another one.
It's over.
And another one.
It's over.
Emil
It's
had taken
over.
multiple direct hits to the legs, but he was still fighting back. In fact, he laid down on the ground himself and started shooting the SWAT team too. But this was his final mistake, because immediately, a bullet struck his arm and he dropped his XM15. Now unarmed, Emil raised his hands and surrendered. Unfortunately, for a few moments, the SWAT officers were behind cover and unaware that Emil had surrendered. So they continued firing.
Crazy, man. But you gotta think, in those situations, bro, it's literally, you go think, my life or their life. So you not go even give the person that you're defending yourself against a chance for it to be your life. So you ain't gonna think, oh, maybe he's surrendering. You gonna think, especially off, if you know what his other partner in crime did, gang, you not going to take no chances. Like, you like, okay, if his partner got these type of traits, he not stopping it to the end. his partner, birds of a feather flock together, his partner might be like that. So I can't take no risk. So that's probably why they just kept shooting.
Hitting his legs several more times. Eventually, though, they ceased fire and put Emil on his stomach. Concerned that Emil might have a bomb or another weapon, one officer pressed his rifle against the back of Emil's head to prevent him from moving. The front of the barrel was so hot from all the firing that it seared Emil's skin. Larry was dead, and now Emil was finally in handcuffs. But the LAPD had received over 17 calls of different incidents from within the neighborhood. So at this point, they suspected that a third gunman was still at large. Because of this, officers refused to move Emil. And even when a group of medics got to the scene, the officers told them to go away. And so Emil stayed there, in the middle of the road, with barbiturates in his system, thinning his blood. After 56 minutes, he bled out because of the bullet wounds in his legs.
Crazy.
The area remained on lockdown until the LAPD concluded that there was never a third gunman. At 11:30 p.m., North Hollywood shootout came to an end. That day, over 300 LAPD and SWAT officers responded to the scene. 12 of them, along with 8 civilians, were wounded. At least 11 bullets made contact with Larry's skin, and Emil had 29 bullet wounds in his legs, plus 1 in the forehead, but their armor absorbed countless hits. More than 2,000 bullets were fired in those 44 minutes, making it almost a miracle that there were only 2 casualties, Larry Phillips Jr. and Emil Matasareanu. After the shootout, the LAPD began an investigation into Larry and Emil. They discovered more rifles, ammunition, armor, and even a makeshift bomb-making site. At the time, most officers carried only 9mm pistols or .38 caliber revolvers, and a shotgun, which were not effective at long range and could not penetrate body armor. Because of this, there was already some debate about whether police forces should be better armed, but few steps have been taken to realize this. Most of the North Hollywood shootout was captured on camera by reporters and news helicopters. When millions of people watched 2 heavily armed criminals taking on hundreds of LAPD and SWAT officers live on television, it became abundantly clear. American police forces were severely under-equipped, and it was time for change.
Listen to this. Early on in this gunfire, the officers apparently were outgunned, so they resorted to nearby gun stores to go in there and find more powerful weapons.
They actually borrowed weapons from a gun store.
As a result, sweeping reforms regarding equipment and tactics took place in police departments all across the United States. They began issuing AR-15s and other long-range semi-automatic rifles, as well as improved ammunition. In some extreme cases, they even authorized the use of armor-piercing rounds. Officers' body armor was also improved, with some departments adopting metal or ceramic trauma plates, and even ballistic helmets like those used by SWAT teams. Although this incident was not the sole cause of police militarization, it was a major turning point. Today, American police forces are far better prepared for situations like the North Hollywood shootout. Let's hope nothing like it happens ever again. But if it does, they're ready.